6:21, welcome back everybody. It's Friday here on Daybreak. It's Friday everywhere, and that means it's time for Mike Davidson to come in, the auto guy from Parkway Automotive, to take more of your car-related questions. Welcome back.
Well, good to be back.
Yeah,
I was in Dallas last week, learned some great things, and we may have an opportunity to share that later on in the week. Maybe next week we'll have an opportunity to do that, but today we want to get to callers.
Sounds good. And don't call him on his cell phone. As a matter of fact, call him on our phone. Jane is up first from Benton. Hi, Jane.
Hello.
Hello. Go right ahead.
Yes, Mike. I have a Buick, 05 Buick LeSabre, and I had some brake problems about a year ago, and had Midas work on them a couple of times, and they say it's fixed, but I still hear brakes squealing when I stop. Tell me what you think.
Well, I tell you, there's a lot to say about brake squeaking and what causes that. It actually just has to do with the mating of the rotor to the brake pad. It could be the quality of the pad. It could be the surface that's on the rotor. And I'll just say, sometimes brake squeaks are just really hard to really manage and get rid of. And so first, I would just encourage you, one, to go back and let them take another look at it. But you may need to upgrade to a ceramic pad, which typically do not make any type of noise. And they may need to resurface the rotor and just put a different surface on it, just a real light cut, not so much that it would take a lot of the metal off the rotor, just a little bit. Get another cut on that rotor and maybe upgrade, which would cost you a little bit more money maybe, but to get a ceramic pad, something like that. I know Napa offers a ceramic pad that works real well. Things like that may be helpful to get rid of that noise. But I mean, sometimes it's just a battle, you know. I've been in the business a long time, and for years we've struggled with that from no particular make, but all of them at some point you'll have a squeaking. You just have to battle it. So stick with them, okay? I'm sure that they'll get it right. You give them that opportunity and ask about upgrading to a higher quality pad.
Sometimes you may just have to live with it if you've tried everything.
Sometimes, it's just crazy.
Turn the radio up louder.
No, that's what Beth does.
I know. She does that when it's making other noise. Okay, Carl is up next in Benton. Hi, Carl.
Hi.
Hi, go ahead.
I've got a 94 Chevy S10 with a V6 that's throttle body injected. I'm having some kind of fuel-related problem, but I've replaced the fuel pump, the injectors. The truck will idle, but if you give it gas, it bogs down. It won't even pull itself. Okay.
Well, certainly, typically when that happens, we know what's going on, and you're probably dead on about it being a problem in the fuel system. The car is just running lean. If you had something like an intake gasket leak, even a vacuum line that has a crack in it where it's pulling in more air that the computer doesn't recognize, then it can't make those adjustments, then it's just going to run lean, and typically you're going to get that when you accelerate. So I want you to make sure you look at, there's a large boot that runs from your air filter over to the engine. We want to make sure there's no small cracks in that, because that can bring in unmetered air. You have a sensor over here, and then more air comes in afterwards, and the computer doesn't know it, and then there's more air than there is fuel, and the mixture's all messed up and everything else. So I would be looking for something like that for sure.
Sounds like he's on the right track.
It does, yeah.
Okay,
good job.
Glenda in North Little Rock. Hi, Glenda.
Good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead.
Mike, I talked to you before about the 94 Volkswagen Jetta, and that they said it needed a fuel pump, or someone was just saying it needed a fuel pump. And you told me to look at the ignition. Okay, now what it's doing, I can, like, go to the store and come back and get in the car. And I have to wait like 5 minutes. It won't even start. And I wait like 5 minutes, and it'll start right back up.
Yeah, I've still got to go to that ignition system, because typically what we find is something in that ignition system is just heating up and getting hot. It's called a hot soak problem. The thing that's going to need to happen is that you're going to need to have it at a facility where they can do that test drive under the condition. And this is real important. You've done really good so far, even saying this is what happens and this is how it happens. And you want to communicate that to the facility that's doing the service, because what they're going to want to do, just to rule this out completely, is simply have a fuel pressure tester on the car at the time that it's going to happen. And it sounds like you could probably duplicate it very easily with what you've described already. And then that way we can rule out fuel completely, because a fuel pressure tester is a simple test. It's not hard. It'll certainly confirm or deny a fuel problem. Once we've denied the fuel problem and confirmed that it's not that, then we can move on into that ignition system and find out why is the car not starting. So let's get it to a shop that can actually take the time, and will take the time to drive the car for the period of time you need it to. Let it sit for that hot soak period. Have the equipment on it ready for the test. test immediately because, you know, she said it's
Yeah.
only 5 minutes that it will
Right.
start again. Now, that may seem like a long time to you sitting at the store, but it's not a long time for a technician when he's got to run some tests.
That's right. A shop like Parkway Automotive. We're going to put up the information about Parkway Automotive. While you wanted to mention something about minis and getting them
that's
worked
right.
on.
Yeah, the Arkansas Mini Owners Club, which if you own a Mini Cooper and you're not a member of that club, you just need to go to their website. It's Motoring Amok, okay? A-M-O-K. Yeah, AMOK.com. And there's some just great information about the Mini owners in Arkansas. We have started stocking parts for the Minis so that you can get it serviced here. Otherwise, you've had to drive to Memphis or Dallas in order to get that done. And then also there's a couple of other dealerships that are not available here in town, the Suzuki dealerships as well as the Isuzu. Both of those are gone. And so you want to find a place like a Napa Auto Care Center or a place like Parkway where we can service. We have the information available. Our technicians have the skill. So don't worry about owning that car and not being able to get it serviced. It's very much available to
Mike's
you.
totally independent, not associated with any dealership. So there you go. All right. And give him a call or go to our website at KATV.com. Thanks, Mike.
Yep, you bet.
Okay. Coming up on Daybreak.